Have you ever lived somewhere that felt alive, even when you were completely alone? Because I did. And what I found inside that condo in Makati still haunts me every night. I was 27 then, working in a BPO company. After years of sharing apartments, I finally decided to live alone. It felt like freedom, or at least that's what I thought. The unit was on the 16th floor, quiet, with a decent view. The rent was higher than I wanted, but I convinced myself it was worth the peace. My first night there was uneventful. I unpacked, ordered takeout, watched Netflix, but even then, I couldn't shake this strange feeling, like the silence was too heavy. Around midnight, I was brushing my teeth when I heard it, a soft knocking sound from my bedroom wall, slow, steady, like someone tapping from the other side. I stopped, listened, nothing. I told myself it was just the pipes or maybe a neighbor. But later, when I lay in bed, it happened again. That's when I realized the knocking wasn't random. It was rhythmic, almost like someone trying to get my attention. I remember whispering, "Who's there?" Half joking, half scared, silence, then a soft tap, right after my question. That night I didn't sleep. I left the lights on until morning. I didn't know it yet, but that was just the beginning. The next few days were quiet. I tried convincing myself I imagined it all, but the moment I got home from work, that same heavy silence returned, like the air itself was watching me. Every time I turned off the lights, I'd hear faint footsteps from the hallway, slow, careful, as if someone was pacing just outside my door. At first I ignored it, but one night I gathered the courage to peek through the peephole. No one. The hallway was empty, yet I still heard the footsteps, closer this time. I turned away, and that's when someone knocked on my door. 3 slow knocks, each one heavier than the last. I shouted, "Who's there?" but nothing. Not even a voice in the hallway, just that same suffocating silence. When I checked the security footage the next morning, the time matched perfectly. But there was no one in front of my door. Not a shadow. Not a soul. That's when the nightmares began. Every night I'd dream of a woman standing in the corner of my room, long hair covering her face, body drenched in something dark. She never moved, never spoke, just stood there. And when I woke up, I'd find wet footprints leading from the corner to the foot of my bed. I tried to ignore it again, told myself I was dreaming too vividly. But one night I woke up, and she wasn't in my dream anymore. She was standing beside me. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Her face leaned closer, pale, lifeless, eyes black like an empty screen. Then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, it was morning. My body was cold with sweat, but the strangest thing, the bed sheet on the other side was damp, as if someone had been lying there all night. That was when I started asking around. The condo staff looked nervous when I mentioned my unit. One of them finally whispered, "Sir, maybe you should move out." When I pressed for answers, he leaned closer and said, "A woman used to live in your unit. She didn't leave." That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I searched online, news articles, condo archives, and there it was. A case from 5 years ago. A woman murdered in my unit. The photos showed the exact same bedroom, the same wall where I heard the knocks, and her body was found right there, behind it. I wanted to leave, I swear I did. But every time I packed my things, something would happen. The lights would flicker. The air would turn icy. Sometimes I'd hear her whisper my name. One time I heard her crying in the bathroom. Soft, broken sobs echoing through the tiles. When I opened the door, the shower was running, but no one was there. Then the mirror fogged up, and words slowly appeared. Stay. That's when I finally broke down. I screamed, begged her to leave me alone, but deep down I knew she didn't want to. She wanted me to stay. That night, I heard footsteps again, but this time they weren't coming from outside the door. They were coming from inside my closet. I remember my heart pounding so loud I could barely breathe. The closet door creaked open by itself, just enough to show darkness so thick it looked alive. I wanted to run, but my legs refused. Then I heard it, a faint voice whispering my name from inside. It wasn't angry. It sounded lonely. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and pointed it toward the closet. There was no one, just an old water stain shaped like a handprint on the wall inside. I backed away slowly until I heard the wall behind the closet creak, like something was moving inside it. That sound, I'll never forget it. A slow, dragging noise followed by a muffled sob. It wasn't just a ghost story anymore. Something was in there. I called maintenance the next day and demanded they check behind the wall. The man who came looked uneasy the moment he stepped inside. He tapped the wall with his hammer. "Sir, this section's hollow." My stomach dropped. When he started breaking it open, the smell hit us first, rotten, metallic, old. He froze. Then something fell out from the hole. A piece of fabric, stained dark brown. We both stepped back. He turned pale and muttered, "Sir, I think there's someone in there." The building security arrived minutes later. They widened the hole, and what came out changed everything. A skeleton, curled in the fetal position, still wearing a tattered red dress. I couldn't move, I just stared. The same red dress I saw in my dreams was real. She wasn't haunting me. She was trapped there, all along. The police confirmed it later. She was a Chinese tenant, missing for almost 5 years. Her boyfriend never found. They said she was murdered, sealed inside the wall to rot in silence. That night I didn't sleep. Every sound felt alive. The ticking clock, the hum of the AC, even my own heartbeat sounded like it echoed against her name. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to the smell of flowers, jasmine. The same scent the police said she wore the day she disappeared. Then I saw her again, standing near the wall that once hid her body. But this time she wasn't crying. She was smiling. Her voice echoed softly, like a sigh carried by the wind. She said, "Thank you for letting me out." The room grew warm, peaceful. The knocking, the footsteps, the whispers, they all stopped. It was the first time the condo ever felt quiet. The next morning, I packed everything I owned. I didn't tell the landlord why. I just needed to go. As I locked the door one last time, I whispered, "Rest now." And for a second I swore I heard her whisper back, "Goodbye." I moved out that same day. But even now, every time I pass by that building, I feel a chill run down my spine. Because I know she's still there, watching, waiting for the next person who dares to call her home theirs. Weeks passed, but the condo never really left my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I still saw that faint red glow beneath the wall, the place she once called home. I tried to forget. I moved to Ortega's, new job, new life, but sometimes, when the wind blows through the window just right, I still smell jasmine. I told myself it was all over, but deep down I knew. Some ghosts don't haunt places. They haunt people. There are nights I still dream of her, the way she looked that last time. Peaceful. Almost human again. But when I wake up, I always find one thing on my bedside table. A single jasmine flower, fresh, still wet with morning dew. I used to think hauntings were about fear, the kind that makes your heart race and your mind break. But now, I think it's something else. Sometimes spirits just want to be remembered, to be seen, to know that even in death, someone finally heard them. So if you ever feel like someone's watching you, maybe they're not trying to scare you. Maybe they just don't want to be forgotten. Because once I met one who waited years for someone to listen. And now, I'll never forget her. Somewhere in Makati, behind cold walls and quiet rooms, she finally found peace. And maybe, so did I. This isn't a ghost story. It's a reminder that the dead only stay silent until someone listens.